Hey, Joe Greene here, live in Studio B, and our Studio B sessions on WNCW, made possible by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. So happy today to welcome this fine group in. These ladies, they're all smiling and ready to go, so let's let them go. Lula Wiles in Studio B on WNCW. Lula Wiles here in Studio B, WNCW. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The group's a lady, but they brought Eli to play the drums and he's doing a fine job back there in that cage. Glad to have y'all here in Studio B today. Isa, did I say that right?
Yes, you sure did.
Eleanor,
Yes.
did I say it right?
Yes.
And Molly,
Yes.
over here on walking on that bass on that last song.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that.
Nice.
Walking all over it.
All right, tell us about that song you just did. Tell folks.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, it's our brand new single. It just came out last Friday, and it's a song that I wrote about sort of a pseudo relationship that I was in, and I feel like it really, really captures, if I can say this about my own song, but I've gotten this feedback. I think it really captures some of the sort of general status of the dating scene and culture currently in 2019, just kind of a lot of ambivalence and, sort of like maybe not, no one really feels like maybe encouraged to like be, to have a lot of commitment. And there, there's like late night texting and just kind of that like weird space of when you're texting, you're like, what
Faux
is this thing?
intimacy.
Yeah, total faux
Digital
intimacy.
intimacy.
There's a new
Oh.
song going to be born right there.
Yeah, faux intimacy, totally. So, and basically, we just ever since we've played this, we're like, oh gosh, we have to record it. So, we just recorded it in September up at Great North Sound Society with producer Sam Kassir, who's great, and we had a great time turning it into
And
what
now
it sounds like.
We're on the It's Cool tour for the
Yeah.
next
It's
2
cool.
weeks.
Yeah.
I was
So,
kind of
yeah.
getting the vibe of facetiousness or kind of, wink, wink, nudge,
Oh,
nudge. Kinda on that.
totally.
It certainly comes right through on
There's
the
definitely
song.
a lot of self-awareness and self-deprecation also. Like, oh God, are you really texting this? And it actually, the title came from a real text that I sent. I was like scrolling back through my thread with this dude, and I came across this text, and I'm like, oh my God, did I really send
I
this?
hate
So-
myself.
Yeah, it was a bit of a I hate myself. So I was like, I gotta write a song.
He's as deep as a hoof print, right? Yeah. You know how men are. Anyway, it's great to have you, and great. Thanks for telling us about the new single. So you a new album in the works?
Yeah,
Maybe.
more or less.
More or
In the future, there will be an album.
But this really is just a standalone
Yeah.
single.
Okay.
We do have a pre-order link on our website and our label's website, Smithsonian Folkways, for an A-side, B-side 7-inch vinyl for the two singles. But it's the A-side is It's Cool, and then the B-side is a group-penned song called You Only Want Me When You Need Me. So certainly the sort of other side of this same kind of topic.
I'm
So
smelling a
yeah.
concept record,
Yeah.
maybe.
yeah. So, but these are sort of their own thing, and they won't be related to any future records, which will come. Don't worry.
You'll be on your greatest hits retrospective years from
Yeah.
now. But anyway, Lula Wiles here in Studio B. Going to talk with them more. They've done a little instrument swapping. Do I need to give Eleanor a minute to tune up there? Isa, would you mind
Yes.
telling me a little about that cool guitar that you were just playing, the electric?
Oh yeah. So for those of you listening on the radio, it was me on the electric guitar.
Yeah.
And it's a Harmony Rocket from the late 60s. I don't know the exact year because it doesn't have a serial number on it.
Oh.
But yeah, it's very late 60s. And I got it actually from a student of mine in Boston. He was just like, I never play this guitar and it needs a lot of work, so you can have it if you're willing to put some money into it. And because he just didn't want to spend the money to get it fixed up. And so I got one of the pickups replaced and had a bunch of work done on it, and now it's my road guitar. I love that guitar a lot. It's a cool, vibey little vibe machine.
It certainly, to look at it, has that the late 60s vibe going on. So
very
it's
cool.
definitely
she
the style.
plays it so well.
Oh, definitely. The tone of it really struck me, as well as the looks of it.
Yeah.
Nice hollow body guitar there. All
This
right,
is also a pedal nerd.
a pedal nerd.
I'm a bit of a pedal nerd. I've got my tiny little pedal board that can fit in my suitcase right now, but I've got a few other tricks at home. That
Yeah, and she literally just told us about a dream she had where she thought that we had like stolen her pedals and was freaking out.
This is true. I did have this dream last
I gotta go with straight pickup tone. No.
night. Exactly.
Anyway, Lula Wiles here in Studio B. I think they're ready to do us another song. What are you gonna do for us this time?
We'll do a newer song called "Cold Water," which maybe will be on the previously mentioned next record. We haven't recorded anything yet, so this is just one of those that's in the running. Can you unmute my guitar?
Pedal swapping now. Lula Wiles here in Studio B, WNCW. Another new song. Title of that again?
That one's called "Cold Water."
Cold Water. Thank you, Issa. And that was Issa on the lead vocals there.
Isa.
Issa. You know, I was going to try to do your first and last names, and then I'm scared to death that I'm not going to pronounce everything correctly. Isn't that sad? A man of my age. But anyway. Folks have been hearing, of course, your first album and, of course, the most recent one, What Will We Do? We added that the first week of this year, as a matter of fact, into our rotation.
Amazing.
And it's gotten a lot of air miles here, I'm happy to say.
Well, we thank you for that.
You guys are at in Asheville tonight. Gray Eagle?
The Gray Eagle with
the one.
one of our fave little bands, Diado, who are local, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they live here anymore, but they both did at one
Yes.
point.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those names are familiar. You guys are making a run through this region. Gray Eagle tonight and Bristol on Thursday night, tomorrow night.
Yes.
And then up in Greensboro on Friday.
That's right.
So we're glad to have you. Are all of y'all from Maine?
We are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All four of us.
Okay.
And in fact, Molly and I grew up in the same town, and also in the same town as Eli. So the three of us like to talk about friends we knew in high school and maybe even enemies. And Issa is like so bored out of her mind.
Yeah, I
It's
just tune
hilarious.
out. I just turn on a podcast when they start talking about high school.
Start looking back at those texts you couldn't believe you
Yeah.
got, right?
Oh man, and actually, Diado, one of the gal in Diado, Louisa Stanchaff, she also went to high school with us. So it's gonna be basically a high school reunion.
Well,
tonight,
sure.
This show.
All right.
But everyone else should come too.
So Lula Wiles, this band, you all knew each other in Maine before, and blah blah blah. Did you all go to Berkeley as well? Because I noticed notes in your bio about Berkeley and Boston College of Music.
Yes. For varying lengths of time and to varying degrees of success, we like to say. And Eli went to NEC.
New England
Oh, okay.
Conservatory is what that is.
All right. So you weren't one of those that became a band at Berkeley. In other words, y'all, or did you? I mean,
We started the band at Berkeley, but I don't know how much Berkeley had to do with it, like because we all knew each other and liked playing music together already.
It was
So
just
I think
being
it
in
was-
Boston.
Yeah, it was kind of just a right place, right time type of situation. But Berkeley, and the American Roots Music program at Berkeley in particular, kind of did a lot to sort of give us a jump start in providing performance opportunities for us and things like that. So yeah, it was Boston, and like the larger Roots music scene in Boston was a really great place to get our start.
so y'all been traveling a lot, supporting What Will We Do? Seems like the album's done really well for you guys this year.
We think
Yeah.
so.
You gals,
yeah.
sorry.
Good year.
Been a big year.
And what, I don't. You probably don't want to like dissect the whole album for me, but everything. But it's as I listened to that, it seemed like I said concept earlier, and I know it's a tired phrase when you talk about records and stuff.
Yeah.
But thematic, I guess, is
Yeah,
what I'm saying
totally.
for the album. Kind of explain that to us.
Yeah, well, I think the fact that it's thematic is more of just a consequence of having written it over the course of basically 1 year, and that year being 2017 to
So
2018.
a heavy year.
A
Yeah.
heavy year in
Or 2016 to 2017. I
right,
guess.
26, yeah, somewhere in between there.
Yeah.
And sort of a tense time, at least in American politics, and still is, but definitely I think all of the songs that we wrote, or most of them, were just drawing on the experiences of everyday life during that time, and that came out to something pretty cohesive.
Yeah, and also, and that included heartbreak, as well, and not just the politically leaning songs, right? And I think, that is something that we think about now, especially like putting out new music, that it's like, okay, we can also play like really fun, like not as serious stuff. Like it's cool, but it all fits together in that it was, as Molly said, like the things that we were experiencing and like the joy, the joys, maybe the joys of heartbreak and the woes of the political situation are all part of that experience.
Yeah, and like we kind of try not to like view our our love songs and our political songs as these two like separate boxes. It's all just like songs about what we're feeling and experiencing.
Yeah, life.
Yeah. Exactly. The personal is political, as they say.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes hard to put life, things in life all into these little separate boxes.
Yeah.
There's a flow and an intertwining, don't you think? I think that's kind of what I got when I listened.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear another Lula Wiles song.
We're actually going to do one from that What Will We Do right now. And it's Nashville Man. It was written by Molly, our bass player.
Lula Wiles here in Studio B. I love the Louisiana feel of that song.
Oh, yeah. We were actually
These-
just down there.
These gals just went to Black
Pot
Pot
Festival.
Cajun
yeah,
music
in Eunice,
festival to
Louisiana,
kick
and
off.
Lafayette. And
Ate well, I'm sure.
yeah. Oh, it was amazing. It's hard to be
I
a
have to-
vegetarian down there.
Yeah, I took a week off from being a vegetarian. Otherwise, you starve.
Rice and sausage, basically. But yeah,
Can't live
we're
on
from
okra
the-
and tomatoes alone.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but from the north, we're definitely inspired by the wanga changa of Cajun music. I don't know if the Cajuns would appreciate that, but I mean it with love, I think.
What, Molly? What brought that song? I mean, how did that song come to your head?
Oh, dude, same old story. Contempt for my own feelings and self-pity in an unrequited love circumstance.
Yeah. There was a moment where Molly was like going out for a run, and I'm like, yeah, you're just like pounding away all your feelings as you run.
She literally said, I was like, oh, God, I'm so annoyed with my feelings. I'm going to go for a run. She was like, pound that pavement, girl.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, I will. And then I wrote the song while I was running. True story.
Oh, man, that's great. I knew there'd be a story, and you're going, oh, here's another host with a cliche question for me. Thanks.
I feel like all the answers are probably, unrequited love. But it's
a lot of
it's a boring life as a songwriter.
You can come to the Grey Eagle if you want to hear our anti-capitalist songs.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, they're at the Grey Eagle tonight, Lula Wiles is, as we talked about. It ought to be a great show. It's a great venue. I mean, and every artist I think that's ever come through here, and we said, yeah, you're playing at the Grey Eagle tonight. Oh, we love that place. So, yeah. I notice you all switch up instruments, too. How many instruments do you play, Issa?
Four, I guess. Yeah, I play acoustic guitar and electric guitar and fiddle, and I do play banjo, although I don't have it with me. But
Darn.
I know. I play a little banjo on our record. If anyone wants to.
Three finger or
wants
claw?
me to prove it. Claw hammer.
Cool.
Yeah. But I had an epiphany a couple years ago that I was actually just a frustrated drummer. So I am working on slowly, because I don't have a drum kit, but working on learning the drums.
Eli coaching you a little bit?
Eli has actually, there were a couple times on our last tour where we were using the drums that the venue had, because we didn't bring our drums with us. So he'd be like, Issa, play the drums, and I'm going to go out and stand in the audience and hear how they sound. And then I think you gave me a couple of pointers.
And I'm also just a frustrated drummer.
A frustrated drummer. Eli says he's a frustrated drummer. How many instruments for you, Eleanor?
So I guess it's just two. I play the guitar and the fiddle. Oh, actually, I played the organ on the B-side of the new single,
you
and
did.
I don't play the keys, but apparently
You
now
do now.
I do. In that it's
right.
in
You
recorded.
learned for that
I
one,
got
right?
I got through keyboard 1 in Berkeley before I dropped out. So it helped. It helped.
Wow. And what about you, Molly?
I have not been switching instruments today because once the people have the bass, they just can't stop. It's just the way that life works. I don't make the rules. But I do also play acoustic and electric guitars, and I'm a late night fiddle player.
Oh, she
Yes.
is a great hang on the fiddle.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it does happen mostly late at night.
Yep.
I feel like I so rarely hear Molly play the fiddle. Every time she picks it up, I'm like, right, Molly can totally play the fiddle. That's amazing.
So sometimes we'll be like teaching fiddle tunes and stuff, and it's great. Yeah.
So much talent standing in here. I just love Studio B. Thank y'all again for coming.
Thanks for having us.
And folks can get in touch with you on social media, I'm sure, of course.
Oh,
And
yes.
lulawiles.com is a fountain of information also, right?
Yep.
We're currently doing a love advice column on social media, so
Yes.
send us your questions, and we're gonna
Yes.
make a video this Friday.
As Ellie famously
Really?
said, we can't promise good advice, but we can promise advice.
It's called Everything's Cool with Lula Wiles, so check that out.
That's like a thing I've seen online with the old guys like me, and they go, old advice from old guys. It may not be good, but it's free.
Oh yeah, this is certainly
Yeah,
free.
I mean, we're qualified to give advice in that people have asked us for advice.
Yeah.
So if you ask, you're saying that we're qualified.
And if we just say it's cool, everything's cool, then we probably don't want to answer your question,
yeah,
right?
yeah, right, exactly. Like, you're fine.
There you go. Y'all ready for another one?
Yeah.
Lula Wiles here on WNCW.
This is the first song we ever co-wrote as a band, and it's first track on What Will We Do, called Love Gone Wrong.
WNCW Studio B with the wonderful Lula Wiles in the studio today.
Wow.
Thank you.
for having us, Joe. Yeah.
When did you all discover the three of you harmonize like that?
Oh man.
Well, I
yeah.
mean, it wasn't so much a discovery. I mean, in some ways it was a discovery, but in other ways it was just hard work.
Yeah. I
Um,
do think there was like a reason we wanted to put in the work, right? Like it doesn't just, we're not like just like, oh, magically like sister harmony,
Right.
We definitely like hang out enough to feel like sisters, and we often sort of communicate that way, in a loving way, I think. Ha ha ha. But we know that no matter what, the others will love us. But yeah, there was kind of a magical spark when Issa and I first sort of started singing together. We had always been fiddle friends, like we loved playing fiddle together. But then there was this one late night jam at Maine Fiddle Camp when the magic of singing together was great and was there. And then with Molly, we were just like, let's have 3-part harmony, and it took some work, it took some time, but here we are now.
But you could hear it somewhere. You could say,
Yes.
our voices blend
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
work on
It
that.
was
Yeah,
we grew up
definitely.
listening to a lot of 3-part harmony singing too, 2 and 3-part. So that it was definitely a goal in there.
Yeah.
It was planted
Yeah.
in our minds.
Totally. And one thing that's been really cool is like, especially as like as Molly has grown as a singer, and also as like our voices have all like changed and developed, like we have started like arranging our harmonies differently than we used to, which has been really fun to experiment with.
Yeah.
Like
With-
who sings highest and who sings lowest. Like at first there was kind of a clear like Molly always sings low, Ellie sings middle, and Issa sings high, and now we're kind of switching that around more than we
Yeah.
used to, which has been really fun.
I think with like working on skill, working hard, there is this like you open up your creativity so much, right? Like if when you're limited by kind of like as a beginner level, you have to be creative there. But as there have just been so many more possibilities, it's like really fun musically and creatively to explore that with each other. So
All right. Well, thanks for sharing those 4 great songs with us today. I could stay in here all afternoon with y'all,
yeah, it's
but
fun.
I'm going to have to go, and you all have to get
Get
to
to sound
Asheville.
check, yes.
Right. And Gray Eagle in Asheville tonight. I know you loved what you heard on the radio this afternoon. Lula Wiles will be there doing even more for you tonight at the Gray Eagle. So thank you all, and thank you, Eli. I feel like a drummer gets left out sometimes in these things.
He doesn't even have a microphone.
He's very important though.
He's got microphones, but they're for the drums, right? Anyway, thank y'all. LulaWiles.com. Gray Eagle in Asheville tonight. Tomorrow night in Bristol at Farm and Fun Time. That sounds good, right?
Yeah, it's like a live Radio Bristol show.
Oh,
That'll be
okay.
great.
I got you.
I don't know why it's called that.
Yeah, it's sold out, but you can listen on the radio.
Well, it gives you something to look forward to, right? Yeah. No, Friday at the Crown at the Carolina Theater, Greensboro.
Yes,
So
tell your friends.
And Onward north from there.
I was going to say, then back to the Great White North up
Yeah,
there
exactly.
in Maine. We don't know what cold is down here, do we? No.
I don't know. I was driving through the mountains last night, and it was snowing,
Yeah.
and I was a little worried at some point, but it was beautiful. So you guys get cold.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Lula Wiles.
Thank you
Ladies,
so
thank
much.
you. Eli, thank
you all.
Take care.
Live Studio B sessions on WNCW made possible by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. I'm Joe Greene. This is WNCW Spindale, WSIF. Wilkes.